Welcome and good day all, this is Healing29 back again for another anime review, and this time I am covering Lookism, which is a manhwa that has been turned into an animated series. So moving into first things first, this is a story that covers someone who is obese, but due to unforeseen circumstances, he ends up splitting into two people, or he splits and changes into two people. So, moving into some other things, such as the episodes, to which there are 8 episodes presently in the series. I hope there is a second season that comes out soon on Netflix, because I totally have enjoyed the first season. The first episode is called Change, to which we learn about the main character, who's called Park Hyung-suk, and his mother ends up witnessing him being bullied, to which after that he's moved to a different neighborhood while she is basically working her hardest to make sure that he gets good grades in school and is able to do what he wants to. So after he sort of like turns up at the place for the first time, we end up having the character end up literally splitting in two. And of course there's like the original him in this particular neighborhood, and then it changes into, and then there's the other him, which is sort of like become like a doppelganger of him, but if he was thinner and better in, say, appearance, athletics, whatever else. And you get to see how that takes place once we move into the second episode. As the second episode starts to begin, we end up meeting some of the new people of the new school that he attends. We also get to see some, of course, more bullying happen, but now things have sort of changed in the story and changed with him. He starts to think back to the times to when he was bullied and what he would do differently now that he's able to use a body which he's able to switch and change, sort of like when one body that he's in, sort of like the body that he's obese in, that he goes to sleep in, the other one wakes up and he's able to do stuff with that one, and vice versa. I'm wondering if there might be a connection to the apartment that he's in that sort of caused it, or something else, because whatever happened to him in this story is definitely interesting. And I have also added Lookism to my webtoons as well. Jumping into the third episode, we end up catching up. He starts to make some new friends, as well as in the process, word is starting to get around of this thin version of Hyung-suk. Forgive me if I'm butchering it. And to which we learn that he's now trying to sort of like make a difference, even though he's got this new body which he can use for his appearance, and it really takes shape. In the fourth episode, we get the appearance of his mum turning up, but in the process, she doesn't end up meeting sort of like her big son, but ends up meeting the thinner version of her son, but she doesn't even realize it at the time. Gives him a bit of money. The situation at the time is misread by another character, thinking that he stole the money and didn't give it to her son, when she didn't even know herself that it was her son. So that's really interesting in how that story is addressed. Moving into episode 5, we see some more happening in regards to sort of like the bullies in this particular school trying to take place and doing what they can to sort of like change up the atmosphere. Of course, in the process, there are some fights that do take out in the series, but you also get to see some times where it really, really shines. when the main character does in fact start to stand up, like for the bullied, and after the bullied have sort of been stood up for, some have received questions, to which you see in sort of like the next upcoming episodes. So moving into episode 6 and 7, to which in episode 6 and 7, the main character makes another friend with someone who is actually about the same weight of his normal self, but you know what? He still pursues his dreams, and that sort of aspires him to continue in what he's doing, but also realizes that, yeah, he could be big and fat and obese, but he can still aspire to his dreams. And they both learn that they enjoy the rapper Eminem, and that's really brought well across in the story. And episode 7 sets up for a team-up battle of sorts, of having Hyung Suk with Deok, who is the other fat person, to perform on stage, and things have already been set up for them to be last. I'm not going to give any spoilers because at the time of this review going up, I have not yet watched the episode, so I can't give you any spoilers. But I must admit, I have really enjoyed this series. It's really been worth it. And now it's time to move in the area of the rating for this particular series. So let's first start off with the main characters. The main characters, I give a 8 out of 10 because I actually enjoyed how the story set things up. For the supporting characters, I think it's really well done, but I'll give them a 7.5 out of 10. For the animation, I give a 7.5 out of 10, as I really have enjoyed what they have done with the animation. But for the overall story, I give an 8.5 overall. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.